All right. Obviously, this is a confusing ordinance, or it's being made to more than what it really is. What Randy said is true. You need to have a site plan. That's the way it's been all along. Not now. So, Tony, how can we make this work where they come in November, show us the site plan? Of course, they have to comply the way that they've been doing. What do you suggest we do at this point?
Well, as you know, licenses are renewed in November. And I think some of the proposals that I've heard from Councilman LeBeau, that would require some surgery to the ordinance that you have in front of you. So let me make a suggestion. Table the ordinance for now. Table it for now. And make a motion that would require all of the, because they have to do it anyway, when the licensees reapply for their licenses in November, that they have to do, that they all submit the site plan that's required by DBR regulations, also your own, by the way, showing not only their indoor seating, but their outdoor seating too. And I think that accomplishes what Councilman LeBeau suggested. It is not a change to law at all, but it will make things a lot easier and accurate when the licenses are renewed.
So that when they come to us, we have a full understanding of where their seating is.
That's correct.
And that's it.
And a hand sketch is good. They don't have to go hire no engineer and nobody to go do stuff.
No, because.
Well, I'm just saying, I just want to
The
clarify.
licenses that I have
Just-
looked at in the
just-
past just has a diagram with these are my tables. This is my box.
Just to clarify, the state law, site plan, I think, is the better term, but the state law says drawing. So it can be hand-drawn.
I'll make that a
As long as it's
motion.
accurate.
I'll second it.
So the motion would be,
Dimensions on it?
the motion would be to table the ordinance
Yes.
indefinitely until, table the ordinance indefinitely. When people are coming in to renew their license, they are required to give a site plan, just like they are now,
Showing all seating indoor and outdoor.
indoor and outdoor. And just like they do now, when Nancy says, are you compliant with all state regulations? They say yes. It is not this town council's job to go looking to see if they really are. We take businesses for their words, and that's the way it's been all along. So you're,
Problem with new businesses, if that's all we're making existing businesses.
well, the new
They have
businesses
to
in
just do their site
town,
plans also.
the new businesses in town would have to do exactly the same thing.
So all I'm going to require for these licenses now is a site plan. Is that what the council's saying?
Yes, a
Because I can do
site,
it.
a site plan, indoor and outdoor seating.
No, a site plan, and also, what do you require now? They say that they're in compliance. You don't
I
ask for proof.
require the Board of Health statement, I require,
So
if
none,
it's a new business, the zoning.
yeah, so none of that's gonna change, you're still gonna require that.
But only of new businesses.
Correct.
And anybody that's an existing business for renewal, is that what you're telling me?
That's what
I
I,
need
that's,
to be clear,
Tony?
because you're the licensing board.
Well, all licensees have to require with all, they all have to require with state regulations, so.
So how do I know if they're complying with state regulations?
How do you know now?
If I don't go to the state and say, well, in liquor, it's different, they'll notify us and stuff like that. But how do I know with the Board of Health? Do I just?
How do you know now?
They have to go to the Board of Health, and they have to tell the
Right.
Board of Health what type of business.
Right.
Okay.
And they get an appropriate food service business.
So they
So
have to
that's
still
gonna,
do
so
it?
that'll stay the same.
Yes.
That'll stay the same. Yep.
It'll stay that way for new, but if these businesses, when you say they're compliant, they
So-
are acting in what they have from the Board of Health.
But don't,
Food
So-
service. Okay.
So a business that exists now, when they renew their license, they don't have to get that from the Board of Health? Only new businesses do?
Only new businesses.
they're already in place, Joe. All that stuff's already in
They
place.
already have their food business permit from the Board of Health.
Right,
Yeah, but
every year.
you gotta sign up for it, right? Okay,
Yeah.
so they
Everything you
gotta,
have to do every year, only thing we're gonna require new is to give us a pencil drawing of where your outdoor seating is, have a nice
right,
day.
indoor and
everybody's happy.
outdoor, right? Indoor and outdoor.
So
Indoor and
they're
outdoor.
signing
But-
that they're in compliance.
And this is not a big but at all. I would imagine that these business owners would not want septic problems all of a sudden. So I don't think that anyone is functioning illegally. Let me, I am going in the good faith that these business owners, if they are having some problems, they'll have it fixed. Because I would think that's what they wanted to do to run their business. And I wouldn't think that they would want to contaminate water supply or do anything that they.
But I'm sure somebody would, if there was a problem, some neighbor would complain to DEM, and, you know, we'd hear about it, so I don't think that would be an issue. Right.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, because some people have the impression that maybe that people are so in an uproar because they're not compliant, and I don't think that's the case. I think we're just getting people nervous, because they think that we are putting more regulations, and this is not more regulations. Everyone in town has to comply with the state requirements. It's nothing to do with us. We're not changing the state requirements. And that's what we're saying here tonight. Renee?
I was just-
I think Justin was before you.
I know, but I was.
And-
I asked him,
All right, you kinda
I
bullied
pushed
him
him,
over.
I pushed him out of my way.
He was
I-
okay about it, so.
No, he was okay. But I just wanted to say, I think this is an instance where what we're talking about with e-permitting would be a help. And Jan, maybe, you know, I mean, if licenses are online, when somebody goes to ask for a license for vitrilling license or
be
whatever,
much clearer.
it'll be clear because those licenses will all be online, so that we can look at that, as the way I'm understanding e-permitting, we can look at that and see if that's the case. So we can, am I off base? I'm
Well, it would be
asking.
going online and seeing what's required.
What's
and it's
required.
What this ordinance is saying, really.
I'm asking.
That would be a beautiful world.
Well, that's kind of what I'm assuming we should be able to do with this e-permitting, because it's recorded somewhere.
It's not yet, not necessarily all state agencies are, you know, as far as some of them are, or even as far as some cities and towns are.
Right.
So, but in the future, I very much hope that, you know, that will
This is
happen
kind of
soon,
what
but
we're working towards, because I think
that would
part,
save everybody a ton of time and long
and
meetings.
aggravation. So I just want to, you know, I mean, I think there's hope in the horizon, and I just see people getting locked into different kinds of arguments, and actually what we're all just trying to do is make it, what I see some of this as being, is making it clear enough so that when somebody comes into town and wants to start a business, and in fact, that's what we're trying to figure out.
How this all started.
And because I have heard from businesses that when they came into town, they didn't, you know, they got what they felt was a runaround. They didn't know who to go to, who to ask things from. And what happens is, you know, which one comes first? Do I get the license from the state? Do I come here first? And it goes around and around in circles. So what we're trying to do, in general, I know that the EDC is trying to work on clarifying when somebody comes in, and that's what our pamphlet is, and we are working on that. When somebody comes in, they get a pamphlet that says, okay, you want to open up a restaurant? On our website or in the pamphlet, you go bing, 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 and it will tell you what your steps are, so that you have an idea that you're not being told something that's not clear. And I think what we're all looking for is just clarity in the process, not any kind of restrictions, just clarity. And for me, the other thing I've been hearing from businesses is that we need to be consistent, and that it's hard for businesses to know what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do if they see somebody else doing it and then they're told they can't. So it's not a question of, you know, I'm just trying to sort of calm the waters a little bit here. I mean, we are working on some of these issues, and I don't think we're trying to do it in a way that's negative for the business. We certainly don't. I think we're,
I'm
anyway.
going to let Justin talk now. He's being very patient behind you.
Justin Katz, 189 Cottrell Road. It sounds like it's largely a moot point at this point, but things have been said in prior conversation tonight, and I want to make clear something that's not clear. What we hear is, this started because it was a paperwork thing, and we have got to comply, and that's a checkbox. A checkbox, do you want to have an outdoor table? And give us a site plan.
And Justin, by
But-
the way, we are working on that.
But if you look at the ordinance that was on the table, you're talking about not only waste disposals, you're talking about point 9 is employees will clear tables and monitor adjacent areas for litter and a regular schedule. You've got all lighting will be focused directly onto the seating area and away from abutting properties. That's not a checkbox in a site plan. That's all this additional stuff, and that is what makes people nervous. And it sounds like that's coming off the table now. That's great, but I want to make it clear, the people who have been speaking were not speaking wildly out of nowhere. This stuff was in the ordinance, and it's going to come back, and it shouldn't come back, because this has been a problem where you try to resolve something by making new regulations that give this council power to say, you know what, we don't like the direction of your lighting.
We've never done that,
Well,
ever.
We could argue that or not. We could argue that or not, and I'm not here to campaign, but but the fact is, it can happen, whether it's you or somebody else, and that's why you have to be careful about putting this stuff in the law. And I want to back up what Mr. Foucher was saying. That one section says the intent is not to affect existing businesses, but they have to comply with the process and the application and a review. So in essence, that kind of language where it says, oh, we don't intend to do this and we'll never do this, but then you put it in law that they do have to comply. And that's what gets people nervous, and that's the kind of stuff that I think really should cease to come through from the town council. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone else from the public right now? Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now.
Nancy Drigsby's Way, I just want to ditto everything Justin Katz just said. I'm glad it seems to have resolved in the way it has, and I don't think you would have had half the problem you've had if that was the original statement.
Anyone else right now?
Hi, Jane Bitto, 2335 Main Road, Tiverton, Evelyn's Drive-In. Thank you, Town Council, for listening. Right from the get-go, the Town Council has said that they are for businesses, and I'm experiencing that tonight in this decision to just do the site plan. So I just appreciate your patience and following through with this in the past year and a half with us. And I just request that moving forward in the future, the town has most of the restaurants' email addresses. So if future things come up that would impact restaurants, we'd sure like to know ahead of time to keep the communication open. So maybe the process could be smoother next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else right now?
Hi, Don Bitto, Evelyn's Drive-In. We've been around quite a bit, and I think where the fear is coming is this ordinance should be producing trust, and it's like you're doing it for the new restaurants. That was the deal, right? So now the new restaurants will have this concrete thing. Yep, I'm going to do business in Tiverton, right? Well, back in the day, we came down. The town, whether they were inaccurate or not, said this is the way it's going to be. You invest in your business to cover that, and now the grandfather clauses aren't there. Everybody just does what they're told to do. Everybody has issues. I think Evelyn's is doing really well with their issues. I'm not talking about us wholly, but if you come here and you invest your whole life and there's no trust that a certain piece of paper is inflicting, I think that is a problem. So what you guys are talking about now is maybe instilling some trust with this ordinance, and that would be terrific as far as Evelyn's Drive-In is concerned, and that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anyone else right now?
Can I just finish up?
Well, you already spoke once.
All right, this
Okay.
is a totally different subject. Well,
Well, no, it has to be on this subject.
well, it is on this subject. All right, it is on this subject, but it's a different corner of the subject. A lot of this would be avoided
if people just had manners and just thought about other people as they're, a new business, even old businesses, as they're setting up their establishments. Lights shining in the neighbor's eyes, loud music.
Right.
Just think ahead of time. You know, what's going to annoy your neighbors? You have to be a good neighbor. You don't live on an island.
Thank
You know, no person's an island. So that's just, you know, if everybody
You
would
just
just
broke
do
my
that.
microphone.
I'm sorry. If everybody would do just that type of thing, I think we'd have a lot easier time of these meetings.
Thank you. Anyone else right now? Okay, at this point, I'm going to close the public hearing. Randy, would you like to make a motion?
I will.
We have a motion. Somebody read the motion to me.
Made by
Because I'm
Councilor
sure-
LeBeau, seconded by Councilor Perry, to table the ordinance indefinitely at this time. And for renewals, the only compliance, the only thing the licensing department's going to need is a drawn site plan.
Inside and out.
Inside?
Inside and out.
Inside and out, and whatever was required for their license to begin with.
Right.
Like,
It's still
so,
subject to meeting all legal requirements. Well, but I mean, that's.
You're changing the legal requirements on
No, we're
it,
not.
so not.
It's still going to be subject to meeting all legal requirements.
And what does that mean to these people?
it doesn't mean anything to these people. If they have a license right now, and they come with a site plan, and they say, I have 60 seats, and I've been running 60 seats, and I had the approval for 60 seats,
We have,
that's all it is.
we have a board, we get a Board of Health certificate, correct?
Yes, I have a board
So-
of health.
On everybody, the original one.
There's a Board of Health certificate that says this is what this is licensed to be, correct? We have that.
Okay.
And, you know, and you're still, just like normal, you're gonna have, if the building official says there's an issue with something, or if the fire marshal says there's an issue with something, or there's another
But that
state
comes
law.
up with
But that will come up when you hand in your site plan.
So if you've had no problems and you're,
Hopefully you don't have any more.
then
If you
hopefully you
don't have any
more.
problems, you're not gonna have any problems.
Because if the zoning said, well, we've had a problem with this, well, that's a different story. But if we haven't been notified of it, then you don't have a problem, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do you want
that's
to
the motion.
move the question?
And I had a second.
Yep, move the question.
Could you read back the,
Want to read the motion again?
just because it sounded like stuff was added to it.
No.
Go ahead.
To table the ordinance indefinitely,
We were just explaining.
and on renewals,
To-
to show a seating plan indoor and outdoor, and subject to all legal requirements.
Right.
Right, that should be a site plan for the licensed premises.
Site plan for licensed premises.
Drawing. Why don't we call it a drawing right now? so
Site
we don't have to go
site
change.
drawing,
A
Drawing is
non-stamped
site,
site
site drawing, yes.
Site drawing.
Yep.
Never
Is that a
required
site
to
drawing,
have
the entire
seatbelts.
site, parking included, or now just a site drawing?
Seating.
No. The seating, seating indoor and out.
No?
You gotta show the licensed premises. That's what you have to show.
But a drawing.
Yes, a drawing.
But that also includes parking. Is
Well,
that what you're saying?
I don't know how, well,
Well, I don't know what you're saying.
We don't want to start adding all this stuff back in. All we want to do is give
you know
these
what?
people,
Whatever.
do the site
I'm
plan.
at that point. Whatever you wanna do is okay.
We can't keep,
Can I
Yeah, let's just-
Can I just ask one
Let's
question?
make it simple.
One question. When you get your original license, you show a site plan or a drawing, and you show the outside parking, because I've been here for original ones, so all these people that have a license now did that.
No, I
If they
can't
didn't
say that.
expand.
I can't say that. The Lyric Theater came in, and I will say that we keep mentioning them, but if you remember when they filed for their application, they did a site plan. It was hand-drawn. They showed where, what they wanted their licensed premises to be, which included outdoor seating. They also included their parking area. They showed their lot, where it was. It was just a hand-drawn thing. They showed where the road was. It just didn't seem that difficult to me.
But that's all well and fine for new. We're not
But that's
talking,
already done. These restaurants already did that. I know for a fact that a couple I've seen,
Okay?
because I was here when they got their license.
Okay, then all you need to add on it is the outdoor area that you're gonna do from the original one you put in.
Oh, okay.
yep. Yeah,
So that's the motion. We just, go ahead,
Add the
Trish.
outdoor.
I just would like Nancy to read back the motion one more time.
Oh, every
She just-
time I'm reading it, you
She just
have
read
to
it. She just read it.
table the ordinance indefinitely for renewals. A site drawing of the licensed premise for seating. I have indoor and out, but it sounds like we're taking out the indoor. and
No,
just-
no, no. it's
No, indoor and out.
Indoor
Indoor
and
and
out.
Period.
Period.
Right,
good. That's
Okay.
nice and simple.
right.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Happy cooking.
Oh, I'm sorry, and subject to meeting all legal requirements.
That was already in the
I
original.
was already in there. She's just being smart now.
No, no.
Should we wait? Is it like a...
Yeah, I need a drink.